guys, what is going on? Blossom's back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now, in today's episode, we're continuing on our series of the best car for many of the track sets that are in the current game, and of course, the rarity that we are covering today is the highly anticipated Ultra Rare, okay? Now, the last time I made a version 1 of this, which is already outdated, think about the Ultra meta back in the day. It was basically just, Peugeot Maxi, Peugeot Maxi, Peugeot Maxi, and then it was like Holden Fiji, Holden Fiji, Holden Fiji. Well, obviously all of those cars have gone up. BMW M5, that's gone up as well. So, the meta has changed a lot when it comes to Ultra Rares, and I do feel like it will be changing a lot more frequently than it used to. That being said, though, today's video is going to highlight the best Ultra Rares that you can use right now in many of the track sets that you would encounter in today's game. As always, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to leave a comment or even like the video down below. I would really appreciate that because these videos take a long time to make. As always, before we begin, though, a quick little disclaimer, which I've added into basically all of, the videos in the series now. This is a short disclaimer, of course, as some tracks are not easily accessible in the main game, there will be underrepresented results that may not be entirely accurate. So, once again, a great example is, from the uncommons that I did, there were some tracks that were just not in the campaign, so people couldn't test, and there was a smaller sample size. So there might be some strange results where you might think to yourself, wait a minute, no way that car is the best for that track set. And that might be true. But this is, I'm using the information that is most accurate as of the day that I'm recording this. So anyway, let us always begin. We always start off with the two. Every single episode in the series, we start with the two same track sets, City Streets Medium and City Streets Small. They always get the ball rolling for us. Honestly, one of the most influential, one of the most important track sets in the game. I'll tell you right now, the Renault Sport Clio RS 1.6 is the best Ultra Rare that you can use for the City Streets Medium. It will also beat the Honda Civic Type R, which I maxed for the Daytona Final, which is crazy because that's an epic. But I digress. The Renault Sport Clio is a phenomenal car. It will be the best Ultra Rare for City Streets Medium. The second best option is the same car, but in a different spec. So 233 if you want to be the best, 323 if you want to be second best, and if you want to use a different car all entirely together, it's a Cadillac CT4-V. Now, one thing I want to tell you right now is that the Renault Clio Sport, or the Renault Sport Clio, I'm pretty tired when I'm recording this, so I do apologize if I, tend to mess up what I say a little bit. But the Renault Sport Clio RS 16 is a wonderful car, but it is the only time you're going to see it in today's video. Seriously, I think you might see the next one. Okay, you don't. Yeah. So this is the only time. This is the only time that you will see this car in today's video, meaning that it isn't actually the best car for an Ultra Rare for any other track set in Top Drives besides City Streets Medium. That being said, because it is the best for a very popular track set, you see City Streets Medium all the time. If you play clubs, if you play multiplayer events, if you play the single player campaign, Yellowbird, whatever it is, you're going to encounter City Streets Medium more often than, let's say, a dockyard circuit or something like that. So because of that, this might be the only time you see the Renault Clio, but damn, it's good. Anyway, moving on. The best car for City Streets Small, I think you guys had a small sneak peek earlier, goes to the Cadillac CT4-V. And then obviously, once again, the second best is the same car, but in a different spec, followed by the Ford Falcon XR. We will see this car later. The Ford Falcon is the best on ocean city streets, but you want to drag spec that. So we'll get to that when we get there. Moving on, Twisty Circuit. So obviously, the Peugeot 207 is it? The Maxi Turbo, right? That has gone up to an epic. It was an Ultra Rare, moved up to an epic. So, it leaves a massive power vacuum. And not only the Twisty meta, but also the hybrid meta. We're going to be seeing the Zenith E10 a lot, but I don't think we'll be seeing the Zenith E10 as much as we saw the Peugeot. Anyway, Twisty Circuit is going to be the Zenith E10. If you want to use an entirely different car, your second best option is most likely going to be the Lotus Elise Cup 250, which used to be an epic. Now, moving down to Twisty Circuit rolling, we have the Citroën C3 Max at 233. We've got the Zenith E10 as well, followed by the Citroën C3. Here's a new little addition that I've added onto the series. Scattered here and there, you're gonna see the MRA. Now, the MRA is honestly just there for me to learn. Usually on the hybrid track sets, it feels like MRA is pretty useful, but I want to know how much MRA do you need usually to be good on a hybrid track set. And the number that I came into conclusion with is around the 80s. If you're within maybe between 82 and 85, coupled with, jack of all trades kind of stats, it makes you a premier hybrid car, which we will see later on in the video. But anyway, You won't see this for every single slide, but for some cars, I will put the MRI below, mainly because when I was making the video, when I was making the slides, I also wanted to learn at the same time and memorize what their MRAs were. There are thousands of cars in the game. There's no way that I'll memorize the MRA for every single car, but I'll try and get a rough estimate, you know, and an educational guess when it comes to some more key cars and top drives. Like, moving on, I mean, like, for example, like Aston Martin Bulldog, I feel like almost everybody has the Aston Martin Bulldog's MRA memorized. It's 100.9. But anyway, G-Force is up next. Zenith E10 is the best car to use at 233. G-Force rolling, that changes. So it seems like when you want to use a rolling, when you're in a rolling kind of scenario, you kind of want to go for the C3. If you're standing, then the Zenith E10 is going to be more useful. And that's mainly because, you know, when it's rolling, 0 to 60 matters less, MRA matters more, and the Citroën C3 brings that to the table. It brings the MRA. The 0 to 60 is not that useful anymore, or not that important anymore, but the handling is still very useful and it handles very well. So it makes a difference in tracks like these. Moving on to G-Force Wet, we've got the BMW 420i X-Drive. Again, one of the center tire meta cars that has moved up from Ultra to Epic, include the Honda Legend. So that should open up a new can of worms for maybe the BMW 420i. I don't think it does though. What the Honda Legend did was open up an avenue for more of like the Mazda CX-90 and like Skoda Enyaqs and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on, Monaco Hairpin, Zenith E10 once again. Then we have that Camaro 74.14 MRA. Tokyo Bridge is up next. Now, Tokyo Bridge has always been known as like this, like, you know, pretty fast kind of pseudo drag kind of track set. You needed handling, but not too much, but you needed MRA and you needed top speed for Tokyo Bridge. And the Charger at drag spec is the best way to go. It's got 78.19 MRA, so it seems like 3387 is kind of the sweet spot, because, you know, the RT Scat Pack at 233 also has about the same amount of MRA, but different stats. It handles a little bit better, lower 0 to 60, lower top speed, and it seems like in Tokyo Bridge that 332 version is more useful. If you need to use another car, it would be the Charger Scat Pack White Body, which has more MRI of 81.82, but it has a lower 0 to 60 score of 3.5. So, what? I didn't even know there was a button that does drum rolls on. Okay, I didn't even know that was a feature. That was funny. I don't even know what I pressed. I kind of just like spammed my keyboard. I wanted to. Was that D? Hey! Okay. That's new. That's new. That's awesome. So I'll be using that later on in the video. Wow. Okay. I feel like, you know, making the creeper in Minecraft, it was a mistake, and we found that by a mistake. Anyway, Tokyo off ramp is up next. Again, it's one of those, like, you know, MRA is kind of important, but you don't need to be a dragster 100%. The Alpha 8C Spider Concept is a pretty useful car here. The MRA is good, 83.33. Dude, I used to roast this car all the time because it was like a hybrid car, but it was always behind like the Fiji and the fast stuff, but it was also always behind like the BMW M5 and also the Peugeot Maxi for the twisty stuff. But now, honestly, I feel like the Alpha 8C that you see here, this car, is one of the biggest benefiters or beneficiaries of the meta change, because this thing has become pretty damn useful in hybrid track sets. This and like your Charger Scat Pack, all that kind of stuff. Charger Scat Pack's next, and then Veloster Velocity comes in third place. Moving on to Tokyo Overpass, again, it's the Alpha 8C taking the top spot. And if you want to use a unique car, it's the Porsche 911 GT3. Now, again, MR and these two cars are very similar. The Alpha is 83.33, the Porsche GT3 is 82.14. Obviously, the Porsche is going to be our thumbnail car of today's video, which means that it's going to be winning at least one track set. Moving on, Monaco Narrow Streets up next. We got the Lotus Exige 240R. I do believe that this is the only time you will see the Lotus Exige 240R. It's a great car, great photo. I really want the Exige 240R to win more than it does, but it tends to be behind the shadow of the Elise Cub 250 as well as the Zenith E10. But at least with Monaco Narrow Streets, it does shine here. Moving on to Monaco Narrow Streets Long, however, the Zenith E10 becomes the best car for you to use. I always thought that Monaco, you know, city streets or streets long was like, you know, it always favored a little bit more MRA orientated cars because of that long stretch towards the end, but it doesn't really seem to matter. The Zenith E10 is still the best car to use. We got the Monaco Streets, the regular one, again, Zenith E10, this time 323 beating 233 with the Alpha 8C coming in third place. Moving on, we got Monaco Streets Wet, we got the Buick Wildcat. Now, there are a lot of new ultra rares that you're going to see taking the names here, and when I mean new ultra rares, I mean, like, you know, ultra rares that used to be epics, so ultra rares that have moved down. That's always good to see, because, you know, as an epic going down to an ultra rare, that means that you should be, you know, theoretically becoming a really bad epic, but becoming a really good ultra rare. So it's nice to see some of these cars really take the podium spots. Like here we got the Buick Wildcat EV, as well as the Audi RS6, two cars that I would absolutely love to unpack as ultra rare. So I've unpacked both of these cars as epics, but I've not had the chance to unpack both of these cars as ultra rare. So hopefully we will get them one day. Monaco Hairpin Wet, we got the Wildcat again, and then moving on to Tokyo Off Ramp, we've got the Wildcat again, followed by the Porsche 911 4S 3.6 and the Hyundai Klicks. Now moving on, we've got Butte, so a little bit of off-road representation to show it off. We got the Peugeot 2008 Dakar at 323 being the best option, followed by the Morgan Plus 4. And then with the BMW X5 X-Drive. Canyon Butte Wet, we've got the BMW X5, again, which used to be an epic, but it's gone down to an ultra rare. We've got the Audi A6 All-Road and the Alfa Stelvio 2.2. So it's really interesting to see, but the Stelvio has actually gone down in value. Like, it's not the best all-surface tire car to use anymore, and evidently so, because the BMW X5 and the A6 have all moved down. But the funny thing is, the BMW X5 and A6 are 62. Why is the Stelvio 64? Maybe that Stelvio is a little bit too high in RQ. It's good, but maybe it still is a little bit too high if it's losing to things like 62 X5s and 62 A6s and stuff like that. Anyway, Canyon Butte San. We got the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 LT Trail Boss at 233. Of all things, being a 323 version on an off-road track set. Isn't that crazy? And then we've got on Deals Gap the Citroën C3 Max. So if you want to use Deals Gap, you know, no need to use a Zenus E10, no need to use like any Lotus really. The Citroën C3 Max is the way to go. Then we've got Deals Gap Wet. We've got the CX90 coming in, followed by the Enyaqs. The Enyaqs! Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I want to settle this debate once and for all. The Enyaq, the orange Enyaq and the red Enyaq. You think these two cars are the same, right? Same top speed, same 0 to 60, same handling, same drivetrain, but they win different things, and it's really annoying. And the thing that I need to remember is that the orange Enyaq is actually heavier than the red Enyaq. And because the red Enyaq is lighter, it wins the super twisty stuff, like your slalom. Like, it will beat the orange one on the super twisty stuff, like the slalom and the car park. But the orange Enyaq will beat the red on, like, twisty circuit. But I think the red Enyaq beats the orange Enyaq on twisty road. We will see it soon enough. But yeah, Forest Road is up next. Again, 8C taking the spot, man. I mean, this was a car that I used to roast. I'm sorry, I did not acknowledge your game. But yeah, there you go. Another winning spot, another first place finish for the 8C Spider concept. Forest Road Wet. Okay, so we've got the Skoda Enyaq. We've got the orange beating the red. Okay, now this is gonna be pretty hard to follow, so try and do your best here. Car park, again, we got the C3 Max 323. By the way, beating out the 233 version of a Zenus E10 just squeezed in between. On Slalom, yep, this one is one that I have imprinted in my head because it's one of the few, you know, bargains left. The Aerial Atom 1 being significantly cheaper, but being the best car, best ultra at least, and below for the Slalom track set. It's not even RQ60 plus, but it's the best for the Slalom. And I don't think that it should go up in RQ because you will not see the Aerial Atom again in today's video. This is the only track set that it shows up for, and I think it deserves its RQ. It's just great for one track set, not that great for the rest. And the main reason that it's so good is, in the Slalom is attributed to its weight. This thing weighs almost nothing. I mean, the Aero and the Zenus E10, they all weigh nothing too, but the Aerial Atom 1, dude, on God, if the Aerial Atom 1 had like 98 or 97 MRA, that thing would be insane. Anyway, moving on. Twisty Road, Zenus E10 takes the cake. Twisty Road Dirt, the Skoda 130 LR takes the cake, followed by the Felicia, and then the Morgan Plus 4. Crazy to think that Skoda Felicia was epic for like just a short amount of time. It went up to epic, went back down to ultra rare. And yeah, I mean, it should be an ultra rare. You know, if you're an epic, I would be expecting the Felicia to be beating the Skoda 130. So I'm glad that it went back down. Twisty Road Gravel, we've got the Stelvio, followed by the Kodiaq and the Acura MDX. And then obviously we have Hairpin Road Gravel, which goes to the Audi A6. So the 62 beating the 64s, which, you know, some people might say, oh, maybe the A6 should go up to 64. I disagree. I don't think the A6 should go up to 64. I think that the Skodas should just, and the Alpha should just go down to 63 or 62. I think that makes a little bit more sense in my opinion. Slalom Gravel is up next. Now this one was kind of interesting to me because we all know that off-road tires, they don't do necessarily very well on gravel. So when I saw that the Skoda i30, sorry, I keep calling i30, but it's not a BMW. The Skoda 130LR, every time I see it, you know, finishing second on slalom gravel, I was like, okay, that's kind of sus. So I actually tested it out myself. It's true. The time is true. Top Drive's record stated 43.66. It really was 43.66. So, you know, although it's off-road tires, although it's gravel, it does well here, so that's pretty cool. Moving on, G4's gravel, and that's one thing I can tell you. If I feel like the time is kind of strange, I will try and test it myself if I can, if the track set is in Top Drives. G4's gravel's up next. Acura MDX used to be an Epic, has gone on to an Ultra Rare, and is taking the cake here over the Stelvio and the FX35. Hairpin Road Wet goes to the Chevrolet Mirai. This is the only time you're going to see the Chevrolet Mirai, and I was kind of surprised by that because I thought that we will see it a lot more because the Chevrolet Mirai used to be one of the best Ultras in the game. But now, you know, I guess it didn't really withstand the test of time. And I'm kind of surprised because the Mirai is sick. The Volvo EX30 comes in second place. It used to be the best. But now the Mirai has taken the spot. And then the Audi S5 Coupe coming in third. Slalom Wet is the Cadillac Era. This thing is basically just the wet version of the Aero Atom because it's so light, so nimble, four-wheel drive, right? Then we've got Twisty Circuit Twisty Circuit Wet. So orange beats red. And then Twisty Circuit Rolling Wet. Very surprisingly, the BMW 420 X-Drive beats the Skoda and the both the Skodas, and I think that's attributed to its higher top speed, because although it has a low 0 to 60, it is capable of getting to a higher top speed. And then we've got Lumbermill Twisty Circuit, Zenith E10 once again. I mean, this thing's winning a lot. If anybody wants to count how many track sets the Zenith E10 wins, feel free to do so. Lumbermill Forest Rally, Felicia beats the 130LR. And then Lumbermill River Rally, Stelvio beats the Silverado in a 208. Motocross Dry, the Hummer HX beats the Stelvio and the Silverado. Motocross Dirt Wet is also still the Hummer HX. So honestly speaking, like if you encounter like a motocross dirt, whether it's wet or dry, the Hummer HX is like the car to use, which is interesting because never in my life while playing Top Drives has the Hummer HX actually be, you know, an influential car, but you know, now it is. Because it used to not be four-wheel drive, it used to be rear-wheel drive. Moving on, Hairpin Road Snow, it's the Mitsubishi Delica, and I think that's because the Delica is the lightest of the cars that are competing with off-road tires here. And then you've got, and four-wheel drive. Then we get to the fun stuff, the North Loop stuff. So this is where we really see our boy, the Porsche 911 GT3, the 996 GT3, really take form as, you know, a front runner. So the 233 on North Loop Relay 1 for the Porsche 911 GT3 is the best car to use. It has 82.14 MRA, beating out the Lotus Esprit with 87 and the TVR with 86. So you would think that, you know, North Loop is very MRA based, but it's really just about finding that balance, and the Porsche 911 has that. It has a balance of MRA, handling, and top speed. And I guess 0 to 62 because it has something over both the cars. Has a lower 0 to 60 and a higher top speed and better handling compared to the Lotus Esprit V8, although it's weaker in MRA. Then compared to the TVR, although it has a slower 0 to 60 compared to the TVR, has a higher top speed, way better handling as well. So yeah, it's about finding the balance. And the 911 GT3 seems to be that balance for North Loop stuff. North Loop Relay 2 goes to the Morgan Plus 8. Brazen would be really happy with this one. 89.46 MRA on this car. North Loop Relay 3 goes to the Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovole, and then the Porsche 911 GT3 at 323, by the way, is the second best option. And then we've got North Loop Relay 4, where the 233 version of the 911 GT3 comes back being the best car. Then North Loop Relay 5, the 911 GT3 remains being the best car, beating the Roof BTR. To my disappointment, the Roof BTR was not the best in anything, and I'm really sad about that because I really wanted the Roof BTR to succeed. I love that car, I love that photo. Unfortunately, it just, yeah, doesn't win anything. It gets like second and third a couple of times, but that's about it. And the Aston Martin Bulldog, dude, just straight out of nowhere with its 100 MRA coming in third place. Now moving on to the all of North Loop, the 911 GT3 puts up a good fight, but according to Top Drive's records, the Lancia D50 is the way to go. Now moving on to Fast Circuit, it's the Alpha 8C again. It's the freaking Alpha 8C again, honestly. And the Morgan Plus 8 Speedster comes in third place. Fast Circuit Rolling is the same results. And then moving on to Ocean City Streets, I did promise you that we'll see this car again, and here we are. Ford Falcon XR8 Sprint 332 is the way to go. Ocean City Streets Wet goes to the BMW M235. So I guess for this one, MRA doesn't matter as much because it has 56 MRA and is beating out the BMW 750 Li that has 90 MRA. So yeah, I mean, I guess the handling in the 0 to 60. You know, if I was thinking about metas that could be improved in top drives, you know, metas that need more variety, this would be it. Ocean City Streets Wet, because this is kind of crazy. Now moving on, City Streets Medium Wet, orange beats red, and then City Streets Small Wet. We've got the BMW 750 Li beating out the BMW M235. Honestly, for this reason alone, I do want that 750 Li. The fact that it's the best City Streets Small Ultra Rare for the wet condition is a flex. And I need to get that car. Moving on, Ocean Beach Slalom Wet, we've got the Audi Q7 V12. Ocean Beach Slalom Dry, we've got the Citroën DS3 R3T. Again, very interesting to see this car here. I thought it would be the Skoda 130 LR, but maybe because that car wasn't tested yet, I can't remember anymore. Rallycross Medium Dry, Skoda Felicia, being the best car at 323. Rallycross Small Dry goes to the Peugeot 2008 Dakar. Rallycross Medium Wet is the Volvo XC60. And then Rallycross Medium Small goes to just a triad of BMWs that have gone down from the epic ranks. So Rallycross Medium Small is all about that. A low 0 to 60, 4-wheel drive, all surface, huh? Moving on, Hill Climb Dirt. All right. For the next like 5 to 6 track sets, all you're gonna see are essentially 3 cars. Mercedes-AMG G63, Cadillac Escalade, and the Range Rover V8. So yeah, just take all 3 of them if you can. G63 wins dirt, again for dirt wet. Hill Climb Gravel, again, still wins. Hill Climb Sand, still wins. Hill Climb Snow, still wins. Hill Climb, still wins. You know what? We'll see the Escalade more later. It's the half-mile stuff, then. That's when we see the Escalade. Moving on to the dry drags, we've got Tamora being the best for the quarter mile. Charger 3 being second best. A little bit of a bargain still. Half mile, we still have the Tamora, followed by the Lancia D50 and the BTR. So Tamora's still pretty good. Using it for quarter and half, but 1 mile things are going to change. You want the D50. Now, this annoys me. I don't like it when a track set is completely dominated by price cars, because that's not going to be good for players. Like, if you didn't win this price car, you're basically just screwed. And honestly, Ultra isn't really a rarity, in my opinion, where you should be locked behind a paywall. But yeah, Lancia D50 is the best car here, followed by the pair of Aston Martin Bulldogs for the 1 mile. Tezbol is the same thing. I was really surprised to see the Bulldog not beat the D50, but it is what it is. Moving on, 1 mile snow. Okay, this is where you're going to see a lot of the Cadillac and the Rover as well, I think. So Escalade IQ wins. Then the Rover, it comes third place. 1 mile sand, you got the Escalade, you got the AMG G63 in third place. 1 mile dirt, very surprisingly, as the Mercedes-Benz R63 AMG. And then 1 mile gravel, you got the Range Rover 5.0 V8. And then, yeah, that's about it. We'll see more of the Escalades later as well. Canyon Tour, Zenith E10. Canyon Tour Wet, however, is the Buick Wildcat. It really seems that wherever the Buick Wildcat goes, the Audi RS6 is not far behind, but the Wildcat is the better car. So, not the first time that Audi isn't the best. Hairpin Road Alpha 4C Spider is the best car. Now, this is very useful as well, because Hairpin Road is a very common track set. It's like a bread and butter track set, right? It's like your City Streets Medium and your City Streets Small. You're not going to see the Alpha 4C Spider again. You're probably going to see the 8C again, but you probably won't see the 4C again. But because it's the best for Hairpin Road, makes it, you know, just that much more important. I do have the 4C. I think I have 2 of them, but they're both 233. So honestly, if you ever unpack an Alpha 4C Spider now, 323 is probably the way to go, because it's kind of a one-trick pony kind of car now, Hairpin Road. Well, I mean, it's not a one-trick pony. In a general sense, you know, when you compare it to all Ultras in the game, it's a one-trick pony, but it's still a fantastic Italian car for you to use. Moving on, Ocean at 233 or 323. Ocean Highway, we've got the Morgan Aero Super Sports. Very interesting to see this car take the top spot. Ocean Parking Lot, Zenith E10. Speed Bump Half Kilometer, Ford Falcon XR8, again being the best one, followed by the Mulsanne and the Brooklands. Car Park Wet, you got the Triad of the 420i. Karting Wet, 420i, followed by the Mirai at 323. Tokyo Bridge, again, Wildcat, and then you got the RS6, of course, following behind. Tokyo G-Force, we've got 420i. GTI, then the orange, then the red. Mountain Tour, you've got the RS6 Avant, and then you've got the Charger Scat Pack wide bodies. Remember, this is a wet track set. The wide body Charger doesn't even have 4-wheel drive, so in my opinion, that's a little bit of a win for the Charger Scat Pack wide body being the second best Ultra for that track set. That's recorded, at least. Mountain Tour, the regular one, we've got the 332 Scat Pack, followed by that Morgan Plus 8 Speedster. Forest Road Snow is the Silverado, followed by the Ram and the Mitsubishi. Slalom Sand is the Skoda. G4 Sand, also the Skoda. The Skoda 130 RS, by the way, making an appearance. Very cheap. It's a bargain. RQ58. The reason why it's here is because it handles okay, but the main thing about the Skoda 130 RS is it's very light. It's a very, very lightweight off-roader. Twisty Road Sand, we have the Silverado, followed by the Hummer HX and the GMC Sierra. Cross Country Grass is the Skoda Felicia kit car, followed by the Avenger and the 208 Rally 4. And now we've got the Escalade Domination. So, you know, half-mile dirt wet, it's the Escalade. Half-mile drag snow is the Escalade. Half-mile drag sand is the Escalade. Dirt gravel, though, I mean not dirt gravel, but half-mile gravel half-mile drag gravel is the Buick Wildcat EV, followed by the Escalade, then the AMG G63, then Dockyard Circuit is the Xena Z10, followed by the Alpha 4C Spider coming in third place at 233. Mount Slalom got the Xena Z10 again, with the Elise Cup 250 falling up behind, and those are the best cars. Now, one thing to really just, you know, clarify is that when it comes to the off-road meta for drags, you know, if it's a 1 mile, then use, like, you know, the Rover. It's like a half mile, use the Cadillac. If it's a quarter mile, use a G63. If it's a hill climb, use the G63. On some 1 miles, you can probably use the Escalade again, or even that Mercedes R63. But these are the highlights in my opinion, right? You got the Escalade representing the off-road drags. You've got the Skoda NEX representing the wet. You've got the Buick Wildcat representing wet tracks that are hybrid. You got the City Street guy, the Sport. You got the drag guy, the Tamora. You've got the two twisty ones. You got the Xena Z10 and the C3 Max. You just gotta remember where to put them, you know? The 130 LR, this is like the best rear-wheel drive off-roader, or the best front-wheel drive / rear-wheel drive off-roader for you to use now. And then you got the Charger Scat Pack and the 911 GT3, which are your hybrid boys, your fast hybrid boys, your North Loops and your mountain passes and your Tokyo bridges and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, that is again the best Ultras to use in many of the track sets in the game. Over 100 track sets that we covered here today. I hope you found today's video helpful. Please drop a like or a comment if you enjoyed it. Please have a great day, everyone. That's going to be it for today. My name is Blossom, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and Blossom out. Good night.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight